Hello and welcome to this week's astrology and gene keys interpretation. If this was a weather forecast, it would be like we're in for big storms. So kind of tie your boat up really strongly. Yes, so it feels like it's getting more and more intense at the moment. The sun is going through this transit of the Codon Ring of Divinity, which is the gene key 37, the city of tenderness. We've got gene key 63 with the city of truth, 22, which is grace, and 36, where the sun is right now, which is compassion. So there are available these very high and beautiful divine frequency gifts as everything is kind of cracking open. And so we can take advantage of that wave, if you like, of inpouring divine spiritual energies at a very intense level, but at the same time, everything in the world is pretty challenging, especially around male-female relationships, which can manifest on many different levels. So what I'm going to do is have a look at the full moon chart for the 17th of March, in relation to the astrology and the gene keys that is activating. And then I'm going to also look at, as part of Venus's morning star process, I want to show you how the kind of 7 portal gates work. So we're reaching the second portal gate, and it's a really interesting, powerful astrology to share with you on that. Okay, so let me screen share. This is the full moon chart. Has it appeared? Hang on a sec. Okay, so here it is, the full moon. Let's just reduce that a bit so we can see it. So here in the UK, I'm in West Yorkshire, Hebden Bridge. It's going to be at 7:17 in the morning on the 18th of March. So obviously that will vary from country to country. So let's have a look, first of all, where the actual full moon is. So it's here at 27 degrees Virgo, and that is gene key 6, line 6. So the shadow of this is conflict, and the city is peace. So, you know, we might expect the conflict situation around Russia, the Ukraine, to actually intensify as the sun is also transiting opposite in the 36, line 6 this week, is going through the 36. So tomorrow, I'm doing this on Tuesday, so tomorrow will be Wednesday. That will be in the line 5, and the line 6 will be on Thursday through to Friday. So the shadow of the 36 there is turbulence, and the city is compassion. So this 636, it's part of the cross of Eden, but it's very kind of stormy energy that we can find ourselves embroiled in. But within, if you like, the shadow lies the gifts, and the gift of humanity for the 36, and then we can raise up into these higher frequencies as the heart breaks open, and maybe this kind of level of conflict really, you know, for people who lived through the Second World War, it will be bringing up a lot of difficult memories. I was in South Africa where the Cold War was actually very intense, a very violent situation around, you know, that whole Cold War situation. So wherever you are in the world, this, you know, now it's time to decide, are we going to go down this continued path of conflict, or are we going to choose the path of peace? And this week is really, I think, bringing us to what that might mean personally for us. You know, where do we see turbulence and conflict around us, maybe in our family, in our relationships? Okay, so there is a lot of healing available. Just going to point firstly to this healing goddess called Hygeia here, and she is in Gene Key 1, line 2. And we still have this very challenging planetary thing going on called the Kala Sarpa Yoga in Vedic astrology, where you can see that all the planets and most of the asteroids are this side of the moon's nodes. These are the moon's nodes here. And this is causing this intense pressure and asking for karmic resolution. But the one who's been outside of this all the time is Hygeia. She's a snake healing goddess. She heals through sleep and dreams, sound healing. And so it feels like her and Ceres over here, who's in Gene Key 60, line 4, which is all about versatility, mastery, and indifference at the shadow level. These two are offering some really healing power into the resolution of the karma as this kind of squeeze. Like you imagine the nodes as the head and tail of a cosmic serpent. It feels like this constriction of all that planetary energy going on. And wow, are we certainly feeling that here on planet Earth. Okay, so we've got this backdrop of the Kala Sarpa Yoga. One of the things that popped up on Kim Gould's Human Design is that Uranus forms the channel of revolution with this full moon. So as you'll see as we go on, there's a lot of energy of revolution and rebirth that leads also into what's happening with Venus, which we'll go look at in the second chart today. So sticking with that rebirth thing at the moment, we've got Pluto still in Gene Key 60. Now this is called the cracking of the vessel, and it's all about divine justice. And the way I've experienced divine justice is very much as the ending of karma. It's like grace takes over. There's forgiveness, there's the will not to keep repeating the same old karmic patterns. And it feels very much linked to male-female energy, that we come to this place of stillness, which is divine justice. Essentially, we refuse to keep playing the game, and we come to this place of stillness. And yeah, so that's very powerful. That's going on there. Okay, so we also have Saturn over here. So Saturn is in the 49G key. I've put 13.5 there, but it's definitely in the 49. So I've made a mistake there. So this is causing this real kind of cracking open energy as well. Like taken with Pluto in the 60, what we're seeing is big structures in the world, whether that's NATO or the financial systems, even like nation states breaking open. But as these cracks break open, there's also a huge potential for light going on. So Jupiter has just entered Gene Key 22, and at the full moon will be at Gene Key 22, line 2. This is very linked to the divine feminine transmission arriving in the world in this this is one of the keys, Codon Ring of Divinity keys. So we have with Jupiter, a massively expanded potential for this divine feminine transmission to take root now. We also have Vesta in 41, line 2. She's the priestess, and she's in the start codon. So potentially this divine feminine energy in the priestess archetype can reshape and reform, start to create the conditions needed for how things are going to build in the future. And also there with Jupiter is arnica, which we probably all have in our homes. It's probably the most healing plant on the planet that we use right now for shock. And we also have a really interesting centaur called Akiro, who is the daughter of Chiron, the wounded healer, and Chariklo. And she's all about prophetic, visionary abilities. But she has fears around those because she was punished for using them. And so she actually kind of invites us to be aware of how and who we're sharing. And there's also this incredible expanded potential right now for the healing of those gifts within our DNA, which have been very, very repressed historically. Okay, so we have both Neptune has just entered Gene Key 36, line 1 last week. So this is this energy of turbulence or compassion. You know, what Neptune does is dissolve the edges, the sharp edges of the ego. So this is a really powerful time to open up the kind of bodhisattva within, the compassion within. And here we have the sun, as I mentioned earlier, part of the full moon at 36 in the visionary line 6. So that's really good. We also have Chiron here. Chiron's in Gene Key 21 at the moment, which is all about valor, honor. I think it's either honor or valor. They've got very similar kind of energy, but here we have Pallas Athena there with Chiron. And so what we have is the healing of the warrior goddess energy, which is very powerful in Chiron. So we may be challenged to kind of stand up for ourselves, to let our voices be heard, you know, to not kind of get trampled underfoot, which is all part of that old paradigm of the patriarchy, really. And of course, the other pattern you can get on the other extreme is people being very aggressive in the way and forceful in their way they try and impose their will on the world. So you may be kind of being too passive or too aggressive, and Pallas Athena, I mean, we've always been asked really to be in our own authority, to speak our truth, but not in a way that is harmful to others, just to speak the truth and allow that to resonate, however others may react to it. Okay, so we still have Venus and Mars traveling together here. They're in gene key 19, which is the highest frequency of sensitivity. So that's a really strong position, or beautiful position. Like within relationships, this is one of the key things, is about becoming more sensitive to each other. And that may be opening up, you know, because essentially we've all been pretty much living in a very numbed out state, in quite heavy energies. And as these lighten up, we kind of feel more, which can be painful, but ultimately it is our awakening, our consciousness awakens through this increased sensitivity. And this is also much very linked to Astrea as a body. And you can see she is here right at the end of this big kind of stellium of planets in Aquarius, and in my chart in the UK in the 11th house as well. So this is the house of community and connections. Yeah, so Astrea is a healing goddess of the new golden age, and she's also a body that's really sensitizing us, and she's like the sacred artist within. Okay, so you can see this is a very powerful little chart here. Stormy cosmic weather. So before I share the chart of the Venus gate with the moon, I just want to share this is from, these are early cuneiform symbols. I've scanned them from a book called Lady of the Largest Heart, and it was written around about 6000 BC by Enheduanna. It contains poetry that's been translated from cuneiform. So these are cuneiform glyphs that have been found of Great Lady Inanna. So in this first glyph here, or in the B one that says B, we see her as morning star. And here in glyph C, we see her as evening star. So you may be familiar with this myth of the descent of Inanna into the underworld, and then she goes through this life, death, rebirth. She meets her dark sister Ereshkigal, so she becomes like a whole powerful woman. And as she descends, which is the cycle we're in now, she's morning star descending, she kind of lets go of various aspects of her worldly being, and then she gets them back on her way up, but she also gets this incredible like spiritual power as well in the evening star phase, which will begin around November this year. Okay, so I just wanted to share that because I think sometimes I'm talking about the descent of Inanna and the Venus cycle, and it's like, what? How are these two things kind of connected? So hopefully showing you these cuneiform tablets will kind of raise your awareness that this understanding of Venus linked to the story of the descent of Inanna have been around for some 8,000 years, through this line actually of the priestess. So for me, that's very exciting. And on my subscription program, this is the journey that we're following, which you are very welcome to join. Okay, so every month, Venus and the moon meet in an exact conjunction, and these form the 7 gateways that Inanna, also known as Venus, will pass through. But in this ceremonial epic journey following Venus, you can also become Venus Inanna yourself and go through this process. So this gate is super powerful, because what we have is, you can see there, Venus and the moon are both at 21 degrees Aquarius. But in this gateway, we also have Saturn, there at 21 Aquarius, and Juno, goddess of the sacred marriage. So this is Gene Key 49, line 3. And it's all about rebirth and revolution. So this is like really powerful stuff. You know, and if marriages, relationships, it can also affect like our relationships with our brothers, uncles, fathers, because it's all about the male-female balance. And our family really is the first place that is all encoded into us, and also the kind of culture we were born into. You know, we will have different experiences of that. So if you were brought up in a Tibetan monastery, you're going to have a very kind of yin, gentle expression of life. Whereas if you're brought up in corporate America, or corporate Britain, and the need to kind of compete and prove yourself and raise your status all the time, then this is a very yang orientated way of living. So all of this is being challenged, and the universe is asking us to let go, to allow an inner revolution, and a rebirth of ourselves. Yes, so that's all kind of super powerful there. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into loads of what's going on. We can see Jupiter is still there in the 22nd gene key. Let me just check that on my notes. Yeah, in the line 6, so Jupiter is now about to move into the 36, and what we have is Jupiter's moving faster than Neptune, is going to catch up with Neptune on the 8th of April. They will become conjunct. That's going to be a really, really powerful day. I'm going to be offering an astrology and EFT tapping workshop that day, with my colleague Amy, on Soul Tribe. Hello, doggies. So one thing to mention is also that Mercury is in the 37, which is the dream arc animal of the dog. So they want their little voices to be heard as well in yeah, the animal kingdoms. Come over here, come on. Woo. Here's one of them. Okay, so just finally to say, I have a subscription program. It's on a really beautiful high vibe platform called Soul Tribe. It's mostly yoga teachers. I'm the sort of resident astrologer, and you're very welcome to join up. At present, it's $29.99 a month. The website is Soul Tribe Online, and if you join the Venus Moon Sanctuary, and what's on offer, just purely from my point of view, but you can join in anything on Soul Tribe once you're a subscriber. I offer a weekly call, which is a kind of deep dive into the astrology of that week, and especially following Venus. Once a month, we have a 2-hour really beautiful ceremony where different people offer meditations, and around an hour of that is spent doing some really incredible shamanic art processes. And then finally, I also do these amazing mudra meditations as the sun transits different codon rings. So the next one coming up is through the codon ring of life and death, which is 6 codon rings, 6 codons. And it's really just such a really simple way to encode the higher frequencies in your body. Beautiful heart opening, just half an hour a day with the other people there. Those are in the evening UK time and 11 o'clock Pacific time. So yeah, I invite you to come along and be part of imbibing this very powerful cycle of Venus in her Capricorn meta cycle, which is all about our ambition, our, how we're living on the material plane, unblocking all those things that keep us from sharing our gifts and being successful in our material life, and bringing the kind of spiritual and material into balance, which is another masculine, feminine balance issue as well, actually. So that's really cool. Namaste. Thank you for listening. Bye.